Hey guys, so the water tank's turned up. There it is, a little beauty. So it's 304 stainless steel. You can see that it's tapered. It's got the baffle plates welded in it, look as well. So we'll crack on and we'll get that fitted. So there it is. Weighs a blooming ton. There's the breather, look. Let's get on with it. Everybody.
Hello.
Hello, look who I've got with me today. Carl's here with me today. I've come mob-handed, like the mob. Like the Peaky Blinders.
Call this working Arthur.
Call it working Arthur, he says. Yeah, so today, obviously, we're back at the boat. You can see the boat just about, I think, through the window, rather. So today, I need a lift because we're going to put the water tank in. So Carl's come up with me, and he's going to give me a lift with the water tank. So let's get on with it then. Come on. Okay, so I've got the bulkheads off, as you can see. Right, there's a couple of conduits hanging down there, ready to receive a few cables for the pumps and what have you. And then, of course, the bow. So that's where it's going. Right, we've got to get the tank through there. So, are you ready, son?
Ready as I'll ever be.
As ready as he'll ever be. Right, there's the bulkheads, look, just standing up there. So we'll pop them back on as soon as the tank's in and we've piped it all up. But, so, let's do it then. Let's rock. So guys, there's in. And that was easier than I thought it was going to be. So, fantastic.
Fantastic.
Surprising how another pair of hands can just...
I've taught him everything he knows. Yeah.
I still know nothing. I'm only joking, son, I'm only joking. But no, so we'll slide it under the bow now. And then we'll have to make all the connections. So let's get on and do that then. You alright, mate?
I'm alright. Yeah, alright.
I'm alright. You got the tripod there, have you?
Tripod.
Keeping him safe. So there's the tank, ready to go in the hole. Let's just hope it fits now. Fingers crossed it will do. Let's give it a go. Right. Hopefully, just shove in that side. Steady though, steady. It's stuck on there, I think.
Still got room, you've touched him.
Yeah, true.
Just gotta keep wiggling it.
There's always going to be the case that... Go.
Just about.
Jane, you're golden.
I've got sweet in there as well if you run out.
Alright, thanks Jane, cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. Super job that is. What we're going to do, so you need to weight forward like that and push it back. Do you know, I think I'm going to have to put a piece of timber.
Do you want me to try and push it, or you or me push it down? Got this wire.
Okay guys. So, there you go guys. Tank's in. There's the valve to pull some water off. The breather I ain't done yet. But there's the fillet coming through into the tank. So there we go. A couple of blocks to hold it in place. Just want to bring you up to speed on the plumbing. So obviously you know the tank's in. So now, as you can see on the floor, there's the accumulator, which is the big blue bottle, and obviously the pump. and obviously the cold pipe there. There will be the central heating pipes running underneath, that's what the additional brackets are for. We ain't got that to that stage yet, but so obviously you can see coming out the bottom of the tank is a ball valve, and then that in turn then goes, obviously I'm using Speedfit, as you can see. I'll explain a bit more about Speedfit in a minute for those of you who've never used it. So the water supply, the cold water comes out, and you'll see that device in the middle, which is a water level sensor. So when it's calibrated, and we'll run through that after, but when it's calibrated, that will input to a digital display, which is actually there. It's still in the packaging. I ain't put it in yet, but I'll show you more later. So when we've set it up, that will input to a digital display, and it'll tell us how much water's in the water tank. Flows through that valve, through that sensor rather, again through a couple of elbows, through a flexible pipe, and into the pump. So the pump's a Parmax 2.9, this is. You can get a 1.9, you can get a 2.9, you get a 3.5 size pump. And this will pump about 11 litres of water a minute. And that then will in turn, when I've piped it, and I'll go over that again in a minute, but that'll go through a pipe, another flexible pipe, and it'll go into the accumulator. That's the bracket for the accumulator. That's what I wanted to show you really before we go much farther. And that's screwed to the floor, and that's going to clamp the accumulator in place. But I'll talk a bit more when I've got the accumulator in. See you in a sec. Hey guys, I just want to talk to you a couple of minutes about Speedfit. I know there'll be loads of you out there who already know about Speedfit and have used it for years, but there'll be some who don't. So really, that's for the this explanation really is just is for those people really who've just never used it. So obviously these are Speedfit fittings, and again I've used them at work, oh crikey, since they were developed, you know, years and years ago. Nice and simple and quick and reliable. I mean, there's a lot of others out there as well, so there ain't only Speedfit. There's HEP 2 or HEP 2O as they call it, and Screwfix do their own version called Flowplast. That's another one that they do. But I've always used Speedfit, JG Speedfit. It's just one that I like. I've used it for years, never had any problems with it. So you know, gives me confidence to use it. So that's why I use it. But cut a long story short, so there's a Speedfit elbow, 90-degree elbow, and of course there's a T, of course. And they also do straight couplers, and there's a load of other fittings for all different applications. There's absolutely stacks. So you need to have a look. I mean, Screwfix is where I get them from. So you need to have a look through the Screwfix brochure, and you'll see all the different fittings that they do. But the reason I mention it is because obviously we can get to that stage now where we're doing some plumbing on the boat, and for those of you who haven't used it, this is just me trying to explain a little bit to you of how it works. But the crux of it is, there's a bit of Speedfit pipe, so there's a close-up, and again it is just purely plastic, and again you can use this on hot and cold water, boiling, you know, really hot water as well, you know, not boiling but getting there, you know, it's certainly fine for central heating. So you can use this for your hot, your cold and your central heating circuits. That's 15mm. They do a 10mm version as well, and they do a 22mm version and 28, I think, as well, which is obviously probably not a size you're going to use, but 15mm, 22mm you're certainly going to use on a boat. That's just a small piece, and again, great stuff, really versatile, and that's what you're going to be using on your boat. You ain't going to be using much copper really. Most boats now are plumbed in plastic. I mean, it ain't exclusively plastic. I mean, you can use what you like really, but I mean, for convenience a lot are done in plastic. So there you go. So that's a piece of Speedfit pipe. And again, whenever you're using Speedfit, you need to use an insert wherever you're putting it into a fitting. So that's a basic Speedfit fitting. It's got a couple of seals on it. This one seal seals when you pop it into the pipe. It seals it on the inside of the pipe, and then you've got an external seal there. So you always use these whenever you're using fittings. Whenever you're using it with a fitting. And of course they do plain fittings which have got no seals on, but these are called super seal inserts. They're a bit more expensive, but that's what I've always used, so that's what I recommend to you. So obviously that pops into the end of your pipe, and then of course all you do, I always, a bit naughty really, but I always moisten the end of it just to help it slide into the fitting a little bit easier. There are nuts on these fittings. See how it turns and then closes down. I'll explain what that does in a minute. So make sure it's open. It's always the way that I always do it, and then all you do is you just push your fitting into it. You let it click, make sure it's in all the way. You've got to make sure it's pushed right the way until you can't push it anymore. Now the reason for the nut is that these are what they call demountable. So if you push this collet back, you can actually withdraw the pipe again. Yeah? But once you, let me just get the insert back out of it, because one downside is if you push the pipe in and then you want to get the pipe back out, it usually leaves the insert in the fitting. I'll show you how to get them out in a sec. But so you push it in, and then if you lock that nut down, you can't push the collet back then. The collet is firmly in place, you won't be able to push it back. I mean, you can use all the force you like, you'll break the fitting before you can push it back. But once you undo the nut again, you can then press the collet in and withdraw the pipe. You won't withdraw it unless you undo the nut. To get the inserts out, all I do is just pull the collet out. There's the collet. And then you're able just to fiddle about and just pull the insert out. There you go. Don't forget to put the collet back in. It just pushes in. Yeah. Okay, so that's Speedfit fittings. Just a disassembly. There's the collet. If you look closely in there, you'll see there's a little teeth. See the teeth? And that's what grips the pipe. Yeah. If you take the nut completely off, so there's the nut of the fitting. Inside there you'll see an O-ring and a slip ring. So there's the two. There's the O-ring and the slip ring. Yeah, and there's obviously the inside of the fitting. So you pop them back in like that. Yeah, and then obviously screw the nut back on. So that goes back on like that. And then obviously pop the collet back in. Yeah, so there's the collet, and that's the fitting reassembled. And the elbows, the T's, they all work the same way, exactly the same. Just a quickie, if you're cutting pipe, these are my old cutters. I've had these for years and years, and they still keep going strong. But it's simple to cut, so all you do is, there's your cutter. Let's do it so you can see it hopefully. So you pop it in, and then just cut. And there you go, and that's your pipe cut. Simple as that. So I hope that helps you. It's no way a tutorial on Speedfit. You've just got to use it and get used to it. But every bit of Speedfit that I've used over the years, I've never had any leaks with it. I've never had any problems with it. So I just thought I'd mention that too. And the only reason I mention it is because a lot of the pipe work on the boat that you're going to see me do will be done in Speedfit. So I hope that helps you. There you go. There's a T again. There's an elbow. You can get straight couplers. So I hope that helps. Cheers guys. See you in a bit. Okay guys, so there's the accumulator fixed up. Obviously we've got a ball valve here, to isolate the accumulator and the pump from the tank. Obviously there's a ball valve there, we can turn everything off. So that's the finished arrangement. Now I've got to run the wiring yet, the cabling, which will be my next job. But of course there are more ways. Your layout may be completely different to this, but you know, I keep saying it, there's more than one way to skin a cat. This is my way. So obviously the water will come out of the tank, through the sensor, into the pump, along with the flexible hose. This accumulator is full of nitrogen. I'll go into that in a bit more detail after. And then obviously it makes its way all the way down the boat, right the way to the front, to the cauliflower as they call it, or should I say the calarifier. Okay, so there's the fill valve there, and of course that's the connection under there, using obviously a bit of reinforced 1.5" pipe. Obviously the tank's stainless. It is 304 stainless. You can get 316 stainless. There's a few different types, but 316 you tend to use with seawater applications, with saltwater applications, whereas the 304 grade, so I'm told, is quite adequate for a freshwater canal environment. Here's the breather. So there's the breather there, and obviously it comes up to the outside of the boat. Let me just show you the breather on the other side. So there's the breather down there, and obviously there's a meshed outlet on the bottom of it, and that's where any water or air can enter or exit the tank. Obviously, like I just said, it's a breather, and obviously there's the filler. So the first thing I want to do, of course, because I ain't put any water in it yet, there's no water in it, so I want to get a little bit of water on, and then we can just first of all make sure that the integrity of, let's put a little bit on it. I'm trying to check the integrity of the seal around the filler to the tank. So that's what I just want to prove now. So just run a bit of water on it to prove the integrity of it. This water will all be drained away after. I'm only just quite a bit of pressure on there. There you go, plenty of water jetting onto there. Now let's have a look under here. So you can see a little bit of water going into the tank, which ain't a problem. Of course, what I'm checking for is to make sure there's no leaks coming from the filler. It don't look as though there is. It all looks nice and dry. I'm just checking with my hands. I've got to be honest, I didn't expect there to be any problems, but I've got to check it before it all gets boxed back up. Okay, so let's fill the tank up. That's the next thing. Filler's in the filler. Back probably to the end of it. There you go. You can probably hear it filling the tank up. So of course, let's fill the tank to the very top. We'll always pump it back out after. Prove. I mean, this tank has been pressure tested, so I ain't expecting there to be a problem. But I just want to fill it before I put all the bulkheads back in place. I I want to fill it and just make sure that there's no issues, of course. So we'll fill it up and we'll have a look when it's full. Hey guys, so there you have the final arrangement. Obviously everyone's layout will be different, that's mine. So there's the pump, here's the filter or the strainer, obviously there's the pump. I've just put a junction box in, so I've got to put the sensor in and these are the feeds to obviously the pump, which is now wired. I've run it in 6mm. There's the accumulator and obviously the valve, so I can just isolate the system. So it's all pumped up to pressure, there's no leaks, so I'm just going to turn this valve on. There you go, you can hear the pump come on. Still a little bit of air in the system. That's it running. So it ain't too noisy. Again, just going outside. There's the outlet. Skin fitting. So all it's doing is pumping water straight out the tank. Obviously out through the skin fitting. Okay. And of course, there's the filler down there for the tank, and there's the breather on the other side there. Okay. Not bad. Okay guys, there you go. So pipe clips are all in, 600 centres. Obviously I'll drill a few holes up the corner now to get the pipes into the bathroom. So 22mm on the bottom for the central heating. So there's going to be 2 pipes there, and obviously hot and cold 15mm above that. So that's that bit done.